Hi, and welcome to Filmi Ladies. We are Pithu and Beth, and this is our absolute last episode of the Bollywood for Beginners Bollywood 101 series. And we thought that after last week's episode, which is all dramatique,
Mm.
we decided to end on a light, frothy, happy, friendly note. So for this episode, Beth has picked a romance, and I have picked a comedy. And our good karma for the week or the month or the year, whatever you want to call it, is that we are going to introduce you to two of the most beloved stars of Bollywood. Believe
Mhm.
me when I say you will thank us
Mhm.
once you have been introduced to the absolutely adorable, gorgeous, wonderful Shashi Kapoor, who is the hero of Beth's movie Sharmili, which is from 1971.
Mhm.
And when you meet the vivacious, spectacular, absolutely goddess level actress Rekha, who is the heroine of my movie, which is Khubsurat, and it's from the year 1980. So we are doing God's work here, Beth.
We are
We are.
again.
Always. It's like it's kind of amazing how amazing we are. Like I'm kind of astounded by our fabulosity. Um, but anyway, so Beth, do you want to tell us about Sharmili, and do you also want to pan your camera to your Sharmili poster?
Oh, it's in the other room and the lights off.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is a film that I very much love. I convinced Pitu to watch it a couple of years ago when we did an episode on films about twins, which
Mm,
Bollywood loves. So that's
yes.
one reason I wanted to bring this film. The kind of main reason, actually. And she loves it too. And it's one of those films that a lot of people haven't seen for some
Yeah.
reason. And I think it's really, every time I watch it, I just think it's better and better. This would be a very unusual choice for a beginner, I have to say. But I wanted to introduce people to it early. And if you're feeling like vintage fashion or
Yes.
some just absolutely technically it comes out in 1971, but this has kind of a late 60s, mid
It
60s
does.
hangover to me, like the kind of pastel colors, um,
The makeup.
the makeup, the bouffant hair, but there's go-go boots also and like a snakeskin purse and like the again, it's just a stunning film. So Sharmili, which means the shy one, a shy girl, right, or shy woman, is about two twins played by the same actress, Rocky, who is someone I really, really like, and you will certainly see if you explore Bollywood. Um, and she plays two twins who are one named Kamini, who is like a master's degree student. She wears go-go boots. She is lively. She is fun. She and her girlfriends go for a picnic in the snowy mountainside and get trapped in a they decide to take shelter in a guest house during a storm, and she goes to the army base nearby to steal food, where she meets the handsome Captain Ajit, played by Shashi Kapoor, who is one of my very favorite actors, which is another reason I wanted to bring this film. I do know that he's not for everyone, but I think
What?
I know. I think, and
What is this blasphemy?
I know. Well, we must admit that some people have different opinions. Um,
Or
but
must we admit that people have bad taste?
that too. Meanwhile, her very shy twin sister, whose name is Kanchan, and when I say shy, this woman is basically pathological. She cannot look strangers in the face. She cannot talk to people she doesn't know. Like she's not just sort of the girl who needs the makeover, like in
Mm-mm.
in many a high school film, for example. She's really got some issues, and her
She
parents
has like
don't help.
social anxiety
Yeah,
into a
I
hundred.
think that yeah. And her father seems like he's fine, but her mother is a conniving and horrible person, and you'll get to that. So meanwhile, poor Kanchan is no one wants to marry her because they like come to see her and she can't even look at them. And someone comes to bring a proposal to the family, but they meet Kamini first and they think she's the intended bride. And then when they see the actual intended bride, they're like, oh no, we like the more modern one. Hearing a mainstream Hindi film say that is fairly unusual.
Yeah.
They want the one with the short skirts who's doing a master's degree and not the one who's good at cooking and didn't go to college. So,
Yeah.
like, interesting. Um, and all these different things happen. And of course, the twins have to impersonate each other at one point. There's a spy subplot. There's sort of like a bad ne'er-do-well gang subplot. There's a nightclub number. We've talked about item numbers already in this series, but you get another great one in this. You get a lot of poetry, so kind of the Urdu couplets, which is an important
Mhm.
part of lots of Bollywood tradition. So you get introduced to that. You get some lovely music. You get fluffy bunnies and little lammies because we're out in the countryside. You have a beautiful forest. you have snow, you have a little bit of comedy, not much, but just a little bit. So, like, for example, a fight breaks out at a swimming pool, and there's a little kid with an ice cream bar, and you see him like shoving his way between the adult's legs to get out in front so he can see the fight. Very funny. Um, you get a fatherly figure who's actually a Catholic priest giving
Mhm.
advice and acting as Ajit's father, who he's obviously not Ajit's biological father, but he's like kind of avuncular
Like a
father figure type.
mentor.
Yeah, mentor. And you get, and what's wonderful about all of this is because we have these two twins, we have these contrasts, which are so interesting. So you have outgoing and shy, you have modern and traditional, you have um, secretive and open, you have self-sufficient and more dependent, you
Mhm.
have all these different things. And also you get some contrast within the figure of Ajit. So he's an army captain. You rarely see him doing anything militaristic.
Yeah.
Mostly they seem to be hanging around in their base, like helping civilians, but he does know how to fight. So you see him fight a couple of times, not like fight like a soldier, but just, punch
Yeah.
kind of thing. But he's also a poet. So it's kind of this whole like the nation needs all these things in order to survive and to thrive kind of thing, which is really, really fascinating. And I'm just a big fan of this film. I think it's got a lot going on and it's beautiful. And
So
Rocky, because
beautiful.
she plays modern and traditional, you get this range of outfits that is off the charts.
So good.
You get like swanky evening gowns, and you get, again, not knowledgeable about saris, but her saris in this seem
So
beautiful to me,
beautiful.
like embellished and never to see to my eye, not gaudy, but very
Mm-mm.
richly decorated and embellished, and just these gorgeous colors and these beautiful hairdos. But then you get like the bad twin who's smoking and she has a gun in her purse, and like, everything is going on in this film. Everything.
It's so good. I think when you introduced me to Sharmili and you were like, you have to watch this movie. And I was like, it has Shashi Kapoor and Rocky and an amazing soundtrack. Where have I been all my life? I should watch
Yeah.
this movie. And then I watched it and all the things you said, yes. But I also feel like there's such a fantasy element, not
Oh
like in a
yeah.
traditional, like a
Yeah.
fantasy element,
Yeah.
but like almost like a Disney-esque, like the
Yes.
shy twin Sharmili, basically,
Yeah.
she reminds me of like almost like a Disney twin, like a
Absolutely.
Disney
Yeah.
person. Like you expect a
Yeah.
sparrow to come and land on her, and you
I mean, she
expect her to be
talks to
able to,
birds, she talks to
yeah,
animals, so
it's like Snow White or something. You expect a deer to come and like put its head in her lap while
well,
she reads it a
there's a scene where
story.
the baby lammy like grabs the end of
Yeah,
her sari and like tugs on it, and she's like, "What?"
it's so cute.
It's amazing.
It's
It's
very,
amazing.
very cute. And I think the other really good thing about it is like the aspect of sisterhood, right? Like
Yes.
they're sisters, and a lot of times it seems like outside forces, like not their family, but like outside forces seem to judge one versus the other. And maybe the viewer also does, where they're like, man, that the overly shy one who has social anxiety needs to, like, I don't know, maybe get some therapy or
She needs some
something,
help.
and
Yep.
she needs some help, right? So maybe everyone else judges them, but I love how the sisters love each other and accept each
Yeah.
other.
They do.
And the very outgoing twin at no point in this movie is lecturing or
No.
talking down to the other one. She just accepts her for who she is, and she's like, you're just a little bit different, and that's okay. I think that's like a really wholesome, this movie is very wholesome.
With the exception that I will put in
Mhm.
that there is attempted sexual assault.
Oh,
Um,
I have forgotten that. I thought you were going to talk about the Ranjit thing.
that's it. Well,
Oh.
that's before, and then there is a
Mhm.
murder.
Mm.
Um, but you know that there's a criminal gang, so and it's actually I find it fairly effectively suspenseful, but not graphic for the most part, I
Mhm.
would say. Um, you could also fast forward through all that part if you wanted to.
I feel like I did.
My cat is trying to like climb up into my lap. And speaking of animals who are like trying to communicate
Yes.
with you, I'm not the shy twin. But yeah, so there is a little, I would put that content warning out there for this
Mm.
one, but it's not graphic. I can't excuse it. It is there. It doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
I
The
don't know what else
music
to say.
also of this movie is really amazing.
It is lovely.
I mean, Shashi Kapoor in the cabin with those girls, just looking so pretty with a flower in
Mhm.
his hand,
Yeah,
singing
he has a
Kilse.
rose.
Well, he's like a Disney prince, though, isn't
He
he?
is.
He's such a Prince Charming.
He is. He
I mean, he
is.
literally looks like an animated character come to life in this movie. You can't like not talk about pretty and talk about
Yeah.
Shashi Kapoor.
They're
So
very, very,
beautiful.
very pretty. I also want to add a thing that this film does that I think is, if not fully unique, is fairly unusual, is multiple characters have sort of imagination sequences, and not necessarily full on
Oh,
dream sequence because they're not asleep, but they, well, yeah, I guess, yeah, well, how we would use the phrase dream sequence. And there are moments where you're like, is that really happening? You're like, that is really in the world of the film, is this really happening or not? Which is really, really interesting and fun. And so sometimes you have to double check, like, is this actually happening in the world of the
right.
film or is it not? It's fun.
Yeah. Okay. So the movie I picked is also, it's very wholesome. It's very, very funny, and it's a very beloved movie. In I would say Sharmili is a little bit underrated, where a lot of
Hmm.
people, including Indians, have not seen it, and they
Hmm.
should, because it's a lovely romance. But Khubsurat, which is a movie I picked, is like everybody knows Khubsurat.
Yeah.
Rekha, the actress, won an award for it, and this is her star vehicle. Like
Hmm.
Rekha is front and center. Yes, she has a romantic lead. Nobody cares. It is Rakesh Roshan, who is the definition of limp toast. But
Yeah.
he's like, you know, when you have really garam chai, you have really hot tea, and you have like a Parle G biscuit, and you put it in, and then it melts in 2 seconds. He's that.
He
So
is a
he's
Parle G
not much, but
biscuit.
he's fine.
Yeah.
He's there. So Khubsurat is a very, very fun movie. So it's sad. It's this matriarch, this very stern, authoritarian, doesn't crack a smile, just like really angry drill sergeant of a person, played by formidable theater and film actress Deena Pathak in one of her most famous roles. I think she must have been like in her late 60s or something in this film. She plays the matriarch of this joint family. So she and her husband, Ashok Kumar, who is also like a legend of Hindi cinema, he just plays this very sweet, like soft spoken, adorable, mellow, retired man. And she really runs the house with like an iron fist. And they have 4 sons and 2 daughters-in-law and a granddaughter. And they live together in this big joint family, and everybody has to toe the line around this woman. It's a very well-run household, but it's not a household where there is any fun or a lot of joy. And it's fine, but it's not like people hate each other or anything, but it's just
Yeah.
kind of like, it's not fun. And one of the daughters-in-law, she has a sister played by Rika, who's very attached to her, and she's missing her sister because her sister got married and went away to a different town. So Rika decides that in her holidays, she's going to come stay with her sister. And Rika comes and she basically turns this entire household upside down, because Rika is a force of nature, both the actress as well as the character that she plays. She's this very fun, devil may care attitude person, but she's not stupid. And she's bubbly, but she's very smart, she's very sharp, she has really good like social skills. And she comes to this place, and she's been raised very differently, where her dad, who is played by the actor David, he's a widower, he has raised his daughters with a lot of freedom. And she comes over there and everyone's on a tight leash, and she just is going to rebel against it, because that's what she's going to do. And she like infiltrates this whole family and forms friendships and relationships with every single person in it, and gets close to them, not like in a malicious way, but just like in a funny way. And because she's such a good listener and she's so easy to chat with, they end up giving her their secrets. Like there's the person who wants to be a musician, there's the person who is actually a Kathak dancer, but dance is kind of like, like Dina Pathak thinks everything that is not super practical is useless. So Dina Pathak would actually be the person that could run a town where they outlaw dance, and then you had to have Footloose in it, Beth, to
Mm.
answer thought that we had from our last episode.
Mm.
Um, and so it's basically just this movie about how at some point this character Manju decides that she's going to sort of like stage a mutiny and get these people on board with her. And there's a really, really fun song that I love, which is called Sare Niyam Tod Do, which literally means break all the rules. Niyam pe chalna chhod do, stop following rules. And then Inqilab Zindabad, which literally means Viva la Revolucion. She's quite a charming, pigtailed, pink wearing Che Guevara. And she doesn't ride a motorbike, but that would make her too cool, perhaps.
Mm,
So it's just like it's this great battle of wills, and I feel like in Hindi cinema you never get to see two actresses, two female characters who are formidable in their own right, where they go head to head. If they do, they are usually, one is very good and one is very evil, and
mm,
it's very simplistic and very black and white. But this movie is made by Rishikesh Mukherjee, who was all about middle of the road cinema, and there's this just shades of gray and pastel in his films. And so in this movie, Dina Pathak at no point is truly portrayed as tyrannical. She often makes her own point, which is that none of y'all have the ability to rule your lives and run your lives with the precision and discipline that I have. And so I'm going to just take charge. So she's really portrayed as more of like a leader, although a little bit of a, everyone's like chomping at the bed. And Manju's character is not exactly portrayed as like some sort of like saintly angelic person that's gonna like lead them to
right,
victory, because it's not like they're being tortured or anything, but
right.
she's just kind of like, lady, loosen up. You're gonna like get a heart attack at this rate. Like you need to like chill a little bit. So it's just like a very fun generational gap between them, and just like a battle of wills. But it's just really fun to see them like duke it out. And the only character I can think of that is similar to Dina Pathak's elderly matriarch, who is very like by the rule, is, I'm sure you've seen Mary Poppins.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Mary
It's
Poppins.
Mr. Banks.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's like Mr. Banks and his suffragette wife. And it's
Hmm.
basically like that, where Dina Pathak is like everything, There's a scene where they're at the breakfast table, and the youngest son comes, Ranjit Chaudhary, and he comes, and she says, "Why is your hair like that?" And he says, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Why is it standing up like that? Didn't you brush it? Didn't you comb it?" And he was like, "I did." And she's like, "Well, then why is it standing up?" And he's like, "Because I'm scared of you." It's so funny. So it's just like a very fun, lighthearted movie. And if you want to see just an absolutely adorable female character who is smart and sharp and relatable and funny and doesn't take shit from anyone and just makes the world a brighter, sparklier place, then you will love Rekha's character in this movie. And
Mm,
Beth and I have this habit where in a lot of episodes we love to talk about how we want to befriend the female character. Like we wish she would go have like tea with us or something, or like, we could like just
mhm.
be buddies with her. I feel like Manju from Khubsurat, she could totally be our bestie,
Oh yeah.
right? She would like, we could invite her on like our podcast to do like
Hmm.
guest episodes, and
Hmm.
everyone would just love her. And they would be like, get out, Pitu and Beth. We want Manju to run the podcast instead.
Pretty
So
much.
do you like Khubsurat?
I do. Yeah, I do. It's just such a, I don't think you actually said the phrase breath of fresh air, but it is
Right.
required when discussing this film to say it, so
Yeah.
I'll say it. It's very, very charming. I love Reika a huge amount, and this is definitely one of her, this is a film that everybody loves
Yes.
for her, and if you love her, you probably love this film too. This is not a film I return to often for whatever
Mm.
reason, but it is very enjoyable. And I
Yeah.
think it's a great choice for a newbie because again, I don't think there's anything too terribly complicated
Yeah.
or
And it's very
going on in
pleasant.
it. It's very pleasant. It's easy to root for it. Nothing truly bad is going to happen,
No.
you know.
There's I mean, I do think that viewers who need subtitles to watch this movie will
Oh
miss
yes.
out on a lot of the humor, because the writing
Mm,
is by Gulzar, who,
mm.
for those who don't know, which I assume all of you don't know, but Gulzar is actually the husband of Rakhi, who is the actor for
Yeah.
Sharmili, and he is one of India's greatest like poets and writers and directors as well, actually. And so some of the lines in this movie are so, so funny. Like there is a scene between Dina Pathak and Ashok Kumar, so the elderly couple. And Ashok Kumar plays this person whose favorite hobby as a retired man is gardening, and he's obsessed with like hybridizing new varieties of roses. And one day he comes into the house and he's so excited. He's like, oh my god, I hybridized this new rose, I think it's going to be like really good. And she of course has to poo poo everything, right? Like this woman is a complete buzzkill. And she's like, oh. And then he's like, you know what I did? I'm hybridizing a rose and it doesn't have thorns in it. And she's like, he literally says, Gulab jisme koi kaanta nahi hai. So it's like a thornless rose. And he's so excited. And then she goes, um, जिसमें कांटा नहीं वो गुलाब नहीं, अगर गुलाब है तो कांटे भी होंगे. If it doesn't have thorns, it's not a rose. If it's a rose, it's gotta have thorns. And poor man, you just see his face like deflate, and he's just like, okay. And you're like, God, Manju needs to come to this man's rescue. And there's a scene where Manju is chatting with someone, and she's like, what exactly does, so she calls him uncle, but then because they have such a nice rapport, she starts calling him boyfriend. So she says, so what is boyfriend's favorite hobby? And then someone says he likes to do whatever. She's like, well, he really loves manure. Like he's a gardener and he loves flowers, but what he really is passionate about is manure and compost. So it's just like a very cute film, I think. Now, I do have a question for you. I will tell you what I think first and then see if you agree or
Mm.
disagree. Um, we I feel like talk of manic pixie dream girls is
Ah,
a very recent-ish phenomenon. I do not think this is a phrase I had even heard of in the 90s. I think it
no, I
came
don't
to
think it
my,
was coined until after
yeah,
that.
it came to my understanding at some point in the 2000s. I don't remember when. And this movie, of course, is from 1980, so it's super, super old. I wasn't even born when this movie happened.
2005 is the
Okay,
origin of Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
so
Sorry,
it's still
2007, 2007.
so it's still like old, but not like super old. Would you categorize Manju's character as a manic pixie dream girl? I personally do not, but I could be swayed either way.
Yeah, I don't think I would fight anybody over it, but I don't think I would call her that because she's there for she helps the family, like the household, right? It's
Right.
not just for some dude, some sad
Yeah.
sack dude. And I believe I've got the wiki open about Manic Pixie Dream Girl, but I think that's a pretty important part of it is that
Okay.
she's in service of a particular, like
A
one
man.
particular man, usually in a romantic, with a
Mm-hmm.
romantic aspect as well. And that's not really what's going on here.
Yeah.
However, um, for me, the difference would be also, is she a full-fledged character kind
Right.
of her own? Does she have her own stuff going on? Also, she doesn't die. There's
Right.
no like terminal illness and she's got to fix this guy before she leaves, you know?
Yeah. Her last like service to mankind or humankind or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really see her that way, I don't think. But I
Okay.
get it.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, she does come across as like a very full-fledged character because
Yeah.
I think she's very much like this super bubbly, sparkly, vivacious person. But I think it's Rekha, and so she never really goes over the top. She's never irritating
No, she's
because
not.
this character could very quickly get grating. And it's a fine line you're walking where you can be extremely annoying. I mean, you're always going to be annoying to the Dina Pathak character, to the matriarch, but to the rest of us, she's just lovely. So I think it's a testament to Rika's own personality and star presence, but I think it's also the character. Like she has a mind of her own. She's not a doormat, and she's not going
No.
to listen to some like her sister's mother-in-law just tell her what she should or shouldn't do without any rhyme or reason just because the old lady just is a party pooper, right? So she has like a spine, and she is not above manipulating people to her own gains, I would say. Yeah, so it has never struck me as that, but
Yeah.
I was just trying to look at it from the lens of someone in 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see why someone would find it. So I think she's got her own interior life. I think she's,
Yeah.
not kind of there in service of to quote a film critic who's in the um wiki entry, this is not a male dominated journey that she's really
No.
just in service to, right?
Right.
That's not what's happening here.
If anything,
And
I would
in
say Rakesh Roshan is like in service of her because they were just like, let's give her like a romantic partner.
they could That's character could be a man, right? It's not, but it could be. And in fact, there are stories in Hindi cinema where a man blows into a kind of dusty, crusty
Bawarchi.
family and jazzes everything up, right? So it's not,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So I think I would not call her that.
Okay. So two reasons why you think that people should watch Sharmili. Go.
Oh, um,
for
anything with
beginners.
anything twin shenanigan can be a really good time. I think there's that pops up in lots of stories from lots of parts of the world. So I think that's fun, and watching an actor do that is very enjoyable. And in this case, you get max fashion diversity as well. If you like to look at clothes and films, or
Yes.
just you have an interest in historic clothing or Indian clothing, like this will be a great one for you. And then the other reason is oh gosh, what do I want to say? I'm gonna say the music. The music is really
So
lovely, and you can see some very nice, what is in Bollywood usually called a picturization
hmm.
of a song. And Google often tells me that that is not a word, so it's certainly not a word I
Oh,
knew before I
really?
started watching Hindi
Oh.
cinema. Yeah, maybe I mean maybe I just don't read enough film studies or whatever, but yeah, so you will see lovely use of music and how it is in service of character development and plot development and things like that in Bollywood. And it's not a, while you can watch the songs on their own, you cannot usually take them out of the film and have things make as much sense or be as satisfying. So it's a good example of, as many Bollywood films are, right? The
Hmm.
songs are usually very well integrated. So um I think it's a lovely example of that, and just a different aesthetic than we have now. So it's a little bit of a time travel to
Yeah.
experiment with these things that are important in Bollywood.
Hmm. I think for Khubsurat, two reasons I would give is I think this is a really fun movie to watch with girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would just be so enjoyable to have people talk about, the movie. And then I also think that this is a very interesting movie to talk about in terms of like just mindsets
Sure.
of people who think that everything just has to be by the rules, by the book, and then if you're serious, you are to be respected and valued. But if you're silly and frivolous, then
Mm,
uh, that is to be shunned. And so I think this movie just kind of like encourages people to like take a chill pill, don't take everything so seriously. It's not that hard. No need to complicate stuff. So I
yeah.
feel like that's like a good message also, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like an uplifting positive, pleasant movie without being preachy, which I
No,
think
not
is
preachy at all.
this
Yeah.
movie just like really walks a tightrope of really dangerous situations where it could just, without a deft hand, I think it could go in different directions. And I think Rishikesh Mukherjee as a director does a really good job keeping it
Mhm.
on track. And I think the cast, which is really superlative, and Rekha do a great job of keeping it on track. I think for our beginners who, if you watch these movies and if you are very enamored with Shashi Kapoor and with Rekha, then I would suggest that we did a whole series on the Kapoor family, which is like this gigantic dynasty in Bollywood. And there is a Shashi Kapoor episode
Mhm.
that we did, and y'all should watch that. We'll put that link in there. And then we did feature Rekha as a part of our Superstar series. So if you want to watch that, we'll put that link. She's also featured in episodes that we have done on Kun Bhari Maag, which is literally one of Beth and my like most favorite fabulous
It's
movies.
kind of the opposite of both these movies.
But it's
There's
so
nothing
satisfying.
gentle about this, but it is incredibly, it is a revenge fantasy, and it's
Oh,
amazing. And it also has modeling
and crocodiles.
and crocodiles.
I mean, how many movies are going to give you modeling and crocodiles in the same film and it makes sense?
And an actor you might recognize from a James Bond film. So,
Oh,
and the
Kabir
Chariots of
Baby.
Fire theme. So,
Yes.
what
So many
else
good things.
could you
And a
want?
fashion walk off.
Yeah, fashion walk
I
off.
mean, there's Zoolander and there's Kunbari Mang. Come on,
Kumbari Mung did it first.
Yeah. He's also, we did an episode on Utsav as well, which I remember
Hmm.
when Beth and I were like, let's do an episode on Utsav. And that is like this movie that no one really talks about because it's so indie, and it was produced by Shashi Kapoor, actually made absolutely zero money at the box office. And I said to Beth, watch, no one's going to watch this episode. We're going to get like 3 views. And it is literally our number one most viewed episode on Filmi Ladies. And we were both just
Oh.
gobsmacked. Like, who are these people that are watching the
They are
Utsav
people who
episode?
also want to talk about movies based on plays that are 2,000 years old.
And written in Sanskrit. Go figure.
We do Shakespeare adaptations, we do ancient adaptations. We try to cover as much as we can.
We talk about Austin. Like, I am kind of proud of us. Actually,
Mhm.
we're pretty good. We also discuss tabloids, so it's
I,
all the
I'm glad
things.
that you mentioned Austen, because people who are new to Indian Bollywood might also enjoy, if you like Jane Austen or some of the Brontes. We have episodes featuring adaptations of some of those that we can link to or that you can put in the comments that you would like to know about, and or you can search our channel and you will find Bronte and
Yeah,
Austen.
and there are more literary adaptation episodes that we want to do,
Dickens.
actually.
Yeah.
Dickens. I've been really wanting to do the Madame Bovary slash Maya Mimsab
Yes.
episode for a while now.
Yeah.
So, because you know how much I love emo stuff.
Yeah.
It's a regular challenge. Anyway, so thank you for joining us for this series. We had so much fun coming up with it. We had so much
Mhm.
fun trying to figure out what movies might be like a good introduction to Bollywood for those few who are Bollywood curious. This series is also something that we were hoping that people would share. So even if you don't necessarily want to go down the Bollywood rabbit hole, if you have friends that are Bollywood curious, then this is like a good starter point. So don't forget to share these episodes with them as well. We decided we would only do 5, but if there's more demand in the future, just write comments and stuff. We always read and respond, and then we can always do more. We have
And
more up our sleeve.
you can also ask us in the comments, or you can email us at filmyladies
Oh
at
yeah.
gmail.com, or on Instagram, Filmi Ladies or Bluesky. We are not there, but I am there at Beth Loves
Yeah.
Bollywood. So you could ask there. You could be like, I like whatever kind of movie you like. Do you have a recommendation for me? And we will do our very best to find you
Yeah.
something. We will also do our very best to find you something that is probably accessible with English subtitles, because
Yeah.
that obviously there's other movies that I think beginners might like, but I have never found it streaming with subtitles. For
Mm.
example, I only have a DVD, and that doesn't probably do you any good. So, there's various factors here, and if we can help in locating films, let us know. We will try to do our best. Honestly, if you Google most films, Indian films, they will pop up a list of where you can watch them with subtitles if you specify. So there's a lot, and
Yeah.
there are options on Prime and Netflix and other places. So
I just
we
got a
hope to
business
help
idea.
you. Mm.
Yet another business idea.
Oh no.
What if we did like a movie matchmaking service? Right? Where people is just like, Dear Beth and Pitu, I want to watch a movie, blah, blah, blah. My boyfriend broke up with me and I hate him. What should I watch? Kunbari Mang. Feed him to the crocodiles.
Well, are we just going to recommend Kunbari Mung for everything?
Everything. Yes. All right. Well, thank you for watching. And we will see you next week with another scheduled episode. And if there's a movie or a movie star or a topic that you really want us to talk about, then just write us a comment. Lots and lots of subscribers have had their requests happen where we have done
Oh.
episodes because we were like, hey, that's a good idea. So we will see you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye.